Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Welcome to it. 888-900-3393. If you'd like to get in touch with us this morning or afternoon, evening, whenever it is that you're listening and enjoying this. If you're enjoying it live, it's very early. So welcome, and thanks for being here. We got a lot to share as far as the election is concerned. I'm very, very concerned right now. Of course, my concern might be a bit heightened from the morning I've had already.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I dropped my iPad on the sidewalk heading out of my house. Shattered it, of course. I use that thing every minute of the day. Every minute of the day. Well, not every minute, just about. And then I get all the way here, park in my usual spot, get prepared to come into the building. I left my show prep at home. I forgot my bag. So I had to drive all the way back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And then all the way back again.
Oh.
And so I'm off to a good start.
Oh.
So it might be a little testier than normal, but I am very, very worried about this Harris-Walz ticket. These are probably the worst people that have ever, as far as being good for America, they're maybe the worst of all time.
The Democrat Party continues to outdo themselves with their tickets.
They really do.
That's for sure. I can give you a little bit of hope if you want that. I don't know if you want it now, if you want it later. When do you want to save the hope for?
Well, first let me express some of my despair.
Okay.
Then you can give me back some hope.
There you go.
Democrats keep throwing out absolute nonsensical fear-mongering about what will happen if Donald Trump is elected. It will end democracy. He'll take women's rights from them. He will end birth control access. He'll, legalize rape or whatever other obvious lie they're trying to jam down our throats. But I'd like to take a real look at what these two, Kamala Harris and the new guy, Walz, Tim Walz, what would they do if elected? Based on what they've actually said, though, some of these things they've backed off for electoral purposes. They're hedging right now to try to get elected because they're so radical they think they have to. Although the mask is starting to come off, and I think Tim Walz would just like to say and he already has, when he said this.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. Mm-hmm. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Oh, interesting. Okay. So the things that they have stated that they're for, they want to ban fracking. I think both of them are on board with a fracking ban. Now, she's backed off that a little during the election because I don't know if you can get elected. People understand. It might not seem like a big deal to some, but fracking saved our economy. It was the only thing that stood between us and total disaster when we were getting squeezed by OPEC. They want to ban on assault weapons like AR-15s. Oh, but they're huge Second Amendment advocates, of course. This is just common sense. Common sense reform. From the people who don't know anything about guns or gun statistics, they want abortion anytime during the pregnancy for any reason. It's just inconvenient. Okay, no problem. We got the abortion drive-up window. Go ahead and use that. They're going to keep our borders open if they're elected. They want amnesty for all the people who are here already. She is an advocate, and I believe he is as well, because he's more radical than even she is. But they want the Green New Deal, which you might remember was estimated by them to cost $90 to $100 trillion. We hear that word a lot now, trillion. It's tossed around all the time. So what does it mean, really? I mean, it's a word that's hard to get your head around. But to put some perspective into it, in just $1 trillion, what does that mean? Think about this. Just $1 trillion lined up, a dollar at a time, would stretch almost from the earth to the sun. That's 93 million miles. What they're talking about with the Green New Deal is 100 times that much. 1 trillion seconds, just 1 trillion seconds, is almost 32,000 years. 32,000 years. Well, this is 100 times that. The Green New Deal, $100 trillion. If you flew a fighter jet at the speed of sound, which is about 765 miles an hour, and you dropped dollar bills out of the jet every single second at that speed, you would have to fly for 14 years continuously to get rid of $1 trillion. And again, this is 100 times that much. The Green New Deal it's the death of the planet. Certainly the death of America if they get it passed. So maybe it's just me, but that seems like bad policy. Kamala wants to eliminate private health insurance. She's not happy with just having Obamacare and private insurance. She wants to get rid of private insurance. And they would bring us the largest tax increase in American history. These are just a few of the things that we have to look forward to with this radical presidential ticket.
Could America take out a payday loan to pay off some of this debt that...
Yes.
Tie us over a little bit?
At about 1,500% interest.
That's the problem. We have been doing that.
That's right. So it's frightening to me, and I just hope people understand and look into this. There's this weird euphoria around Kamala right now, and now this guy. They're both in this euphoric bubble, and people just think, oh, aren't they great? Aren't they wonderful? It's chilling. It's chilling when you know who they are and what they intend for America. So this would be a good place to inject maybe the hopefulness, Keith.
Okay, all right. Well, this is big. I wish I had the Electoral College map from 2020. That's something I need to just kind of have on standby for Joe, I think.
Yeah, it'd be helpful.
Yeah, so this is how it ended in 2020.
Right.
I know it's not right, y'all, but it's the
306 to 232.
Yeah. All right, so you need 270 to win.
Biden over Trump.
Okay, so let's go through this, and you tell me if this is false hope. But the state of Nevada, they just removed 90,000 inactive voters. Because remember, that's the key. That's the key. They just need the name on the rolls that they can then take advantage of for their little fraud schemes. So they
cleaned up the rolls in Nevada.
So we're gonna switch this now. We're gonna make this right 238. Right, and then we're going to knock that down to 300 because that's 6 electoral votes.
All right.
So we're getting there. We're getting there. You're not feeling the hope yet? Georgia now is going to preserve. This is ridiculous that they didn't do this to begin with. Voting machine memory cards. After 1.7 million ballot images disappeared. What?
What? Do you think that's unusual?
I
or
do.
Problematic in some way?
I think it was a travesty in that state that went after Donald Trump on that. He was absolutely right.
Really picky, yeah? About the election. It's just an election. Come on.
Why being so critical, Keith? It's not our future or nothing.
Guy's a stickler.
Check my math. I just took 16 off of...
Okay, 16 off because Georgia's got 16 electoral votes.
So, we're going to say that they got their act together
So now it's 284 to 254.
It is. We've got to get to 270, right?
Yeah, or below.
Okay.
Would be nice.
Oh, by the way, Ohio went for Trump, but they just cleaned up 150,000
Did they?
names on their voter roll.
Okay.
So these states are starting to just slowly turn.
Remember when Ohio was the decider? Remember that with Kerry? It used to be Ohio, and now it moved.
So obviously with Michigan, and this is the thing on Michigan, where you can't contest the fraud under the leader, Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I get this feeling, and now we're getting into my feelings, right? So this isn't data for you, but it's like the Muslim backlash against the Democrat Party is something real, And so it's going to be interesting to see how Michigan plays out.
Yeah.
Another place where shenanigans took place. Wisconsin with the voter boxes everywhere. So Wisconsin and Michigan, I'm not having hope for. So it really does come down to two states now, in my opinion. Arizona, I mean, that's where Trump. It's the last I checked, he had a slim lead there still on Harris. These weren't Biden numbers, and so I'm going to give him the 11. Just for this exercise, because we're trying to bring some hope. Right? So we're going to get up to 265. So
we're getting close. And you got to bring down the other side.
Yeah.
11.
272 or 3.
But
if Arizona with Katie Hobbs in charge, I'm not ultimately hopeful. It comes down to Pennsylvania. It just 20 electoral
which is why
votes.
I love the fact that they didn't get Josh Shapiro.
Right.
That was phenomenal for us.
That is exactly where I was going. I'm not going to give a lot of hope to Arizona. I'm going to say this 254. It's going to be Pennsylvania. That is the keystone state, no pun intended. But I sincerely think you're right that the Democrat Party has bit themselves with their kowtowing to their
anti-Semitism.
Yep. And it would serve
cut off
them
their
right.
nose to spite their face.
Yeah.
Congratulations on that. Sure hope they did.
That. Yeah.
So Pennsylvania would be the difference and would put Trump over the top.
274. Yeah.
274.
When I did this map a week ago, I think it was on the live stream that I did last Friday night. I think I came out as 269 to 269. And I've been sitting here this morning trying to figure out what changed on my map because I don't have a picture of that in front of me. But, I think I gave that Nebraska. No, I don't know. Anyway, it's going to be close. And that is, and this is where the hope is.
And close is not good, though.
But I'm saying that while factoring in
the cheating,
the baked-in cheating. Yes. So I got to figure out what Pennsylvania, what's different there 4 years removed from 2020.
Yeah.
And then I don't want to dwell on it too long because then it shoots down any hope you have, right?
Yeah, and I don't want to. I want to be hopeful.
Yeah.
I want to be hopeful.
Yeah.
It's the only thing I have to cling to right now because the alternative is unthinkable.
Yeah, Trump could get Virginia too, y'all.
He could. He's done well in Virginia, and Virginia's been really tough for conservatives, except for a governor election. So you got Virginia, which has been leaning Republican lately. North Carolina is too, I think, right? Isn't he pretty solid in North Carolina?
I need to check.
Which was iffy in the past.
He won it.
Yeah,
he won it,
but it's tight.
Yeah,
there, and it seems like it didn't used to be.
Oh no, it didn't. I mean, it went red to purple to blue.
Did you see? We didn't play the Jamie Raskin quote on this show, did we? Where he's talking about insurrection and all that.
Oh, absolutely, we did.
We still have that
and
around.
We made the point that this man
hell
right. That was a big deal quote.
They are talking about doing exactly what they're accusing Trump of doing. I mean, again, they're taking off the mask. They're making no bones about it. They're just saying, stop us. Yeah, we don't think you can now. And some of them are just saying the quiet part out loud. Like they're trying to say that because Trump is responsible, Jamie Raskin anyway, is saying that because Trump is responsible for January 6th, which they call an insurrection, the 14th Amendment makes him unqualified to be president. So if he wins the election, he says it's Congress's job.
Yeah, we got that.
To stop it. Do we have it here?
Yeah, we got it.
All right, listen to this.
Again, it's necessary, but it's not sufficient because what can be put into the Constitution can slip away from you very quickly. And the greatest example going on right now before our very eyes is Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, which they're just disappearing with a magic wand.
They are.
As if it doesn't exist, even though it could not be clearer what it's stating. And so, they want to kick it to Congress, so it's going to be up to us on January 6, 2025, to tell the rampaging Trump mobs that he's disqualified, and then we
pause it for a second.
Bodyguards.
Did that sink in? I mean, he's just spewing nonsense, so you kind of lose track of what it is he's saying. He's saying if Trump wins the election, it's up to Congress to stop him from taking the office.
And the irony of this isn't just what he is saying as far as denying Trump. He is saying we're doing that on the basis of Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. Mm-hmm. It sounds like he's violating Section 3 of the 14th Amendment in order to enforce.
Talking about it. Yes.
I mean, what the hell, man?
Yes.
This sounds like an insurrection there, Jamie.
It sounds that way because it is that way. He's actually speaking about an insurrection and performing an insurrection while he's accusing Trump of doing that, so he's ineligible for office. This is unbelievable.
Yep.
So he is saying that if Trump wins November 5th, Congress steps in and disallows him from taking office. And then that obviously will piss off the voters because they voted him into office, and they're saying, and you're going to have to get ready for these rampaging, really creepy people who suddenly believed that their vote mattered and that the election should hold and that they believe in democracy. And Congress is going to step in and stop it from happening. Wow. And listen to the rest of this. It's incredible.
He's disqualified, and then we need bodyguards for everybody in Civil War conditions, all because the 9 justices, not all of them, but these justices who have not many cases to look at every year, not that much work to do, a huge staff, great protection, simply do not want to do their job and interpret what the great 14th Amendment means. And I'm glad that Sherlin's creating her new center so we can bring that.
This guy should be impeached.
Absolutely.
He should be impeached.
I'm so glad we're playing this again because
he's essentially speaking treason here.
Yeah, I mean, didn't the Democrats rail in 2000? Selected, not elected. How dare the Supreme Court let George Bush be? He is saying, I don't care how you guys vote, Americans. It doesn't matter. It's the 9 justices that I'm leaning on. If they don't do their job, then I guess Congress has to stop Donald Trump. It's not about who won. No. It's about stopping Donald Trump to these people. It's unreal.
Which shows you their inner self and who they really are. They don't give a rat's anus about democracy. They scream about it all the time. That's not what they're about. They're not about democracy. They're about having their own way. And he is saying that even though he knows it's unconstitutional, we just all need to get bodyguards to protect us from those people who are going to be pissed. How dare they get upset about this, but it'll spark a civil war. You bet it would. Yeah, that would spark a civil war. He is inciting insurrection right there. Incredible. That's incredible.
It sure is.
And that is not getting anywhere near the coverage it should be getting. But again, that's how far down the road they think they are. We can't do anything about it. And nobody can stop this. So we're just gonna be transparent and tell you about it. I mean, some of them are doing just that. Tim Walz, Jamie Raskin. It's pretty amazing. Pretty amazing. So just know that. Maybe find that clip. Maybe we should post that clip and share it with people so they can share it with their friends, because it is chilling. Every news agency in this country should be all over that.
Yeah, and as you're looking at these polls and losing heart because you see Harris closing the gap that was there between Biden and Trump, and now it's much more narrow, state to state across the board. Steve Deace was sending me some polling data yesterday, and one of the things that he pointed out, in fact, it's a tweet of his, I believe, that Emerson College had the most accurate polling in 2020 and 2022. So you might want to bookmark their polling stuff. And the reason I bring that up, as we're talking about hope here, they haven't updated, this is national polling, they haven't updated it now that Harris is the nominee, but they did in July show that Trump led Biden 46-43 with 11 undecided.
In July, over Biden.
Yeah. So
46-43 over Biden.
With 11 undecided.
Yeah.
And then they had these hypothetical matches, and one of them was Trump versus Harris, which at the time was 49-43 for Trump. as there was only 8% undecided instead of the 11%. Again, that's a national poll. That is Emerson. But Steve Deace went back and looked at all the polls from 2022 and 2020, and he said Emerson is the one that's the most accurate. I'll try to find that tweet and retweet it because it's a pretty interesting.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
All right, 888-933-93. Just to get a breath of fresh air here, let's go to Anya in Virginia. Hey, Anya, welcome.
Bingo!
Yeah!
Nice job.
Woo-hoo-hoo. So at least for now, we can still play Pat Gray Bingo.
We can still play Pat Gray Bingo.
We can still do that.
Definitely can.
That right has not yet been taken away from us.
And what's so great about Anya is that you got bingo at the end of yesterday's show, and then you sat on hold for 22 hours. And we're so grateful for your persistence.
So much dedication.
Well
done.
It's worth it. It's worth it. And honestly, Pat, you know how to give a 10-year wedding anniversary gift, man. I really appreciate it. So
wow.
I'm super excited
Congratulations.
Today.
That's great. All right, where did your bingo happen?
It happened on the middle row across, starting with Jeffy with goodness. Kamala's meeting intro. She's a woman. Her pronouns are she, her.
Right.
She's sitting at the table in a blue suit.
Uh-huh.
Pat Gray is here. I am.
Right.
The media buzzword montage, and that's so weird. And then Keith with bruh.
Nicely done. Thanks a lot, Anya, and thanks for waiting for 22 hours for this phone call.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, that's
You're so
great.
welcome. You're worth it, Pat.
I think it's because Daniel told her if she drops off, then you forfeit your prize. So she was dedicated.
All right, so she gets the $30 worth of merchandise from PatGrayShop.com and a dozen Keksi cookies from Keksi.com, which reminds me I brought in some Keksi cookies.
Did you bring
that
coffee cake?
I do have.
Yes, I've been waiting for
the coffee cake. Have you had it yet? Have you tried it?
Yeah, you brought it. You brought it last week.
Absolutely.
Or 2 weeks ago.
In fact,
delicious.
We've already sold out of the coffee cake, but we're making more today.
Okay.
So keep ordering it because
is that coffee cake?
It's sold out in one day, though. Yeah, that's
so
coffee
cool.
cake in my hand.
And
oh
I
my
can still
gosh,
get 15%
so delicious.
off, right?
15% off right now.
I just want to make sure I'm cheap.
No promo code. Just the 15% off, and it will happen for you at checkout.
I will say this.
Keksi.com.
If you want to pair the cookie with an awesome cup of coffee, no sugar, it's worth it.
Okay. Excellent.
It's worth it.
Here's setting this aside for you, Kris.
Thank you, sir.
And then we got all the other. This is also one of my favorites. This is the raspberry lemonade.
Oh, yes.
Dang, that's good.
That's so good.
I mean, it's hard to pick just one favorite.
Wow.
And just because, he's not here, thank you for bringing the cookies while Jeffy's not here.
Yeah, otherwise you'd never get any.
You would never get
There might be a crumb
cookie.
at the bottom of the box, but probably not.
Oh, my gosh, dude.
Nah.
This is really good.
Isn't that good?
I don't know if anyone's ever thought this, but you take this coffee cake cookie
and you dip it.
You mix it with this just coffee, no sugar. Again, I don't know if anyone's ever suggested this.
No, I think that's novel. That's a unique thought
Thank you.
that just came from you, Keith. So that's good. All right, so Keksi.com, KEKSI.com. Get 15% off right now. And we are making more of the coffee cake cookies, so it will be there for you.
If you don't know this, that's okay. But how many cookies do you guys batch every time?
How many in a batch?
Yeah. When you're baking them in
I don't. I think it's like 800 or something in a batch. Yeah.
And you sold out on day one.
Yeah. Well, but we're making batches all day long, so it's way more than. Yeah.
That is so cool.
I think it's around 700 or 800 per batch because we've got these giant vats. Have you've been to the kitchen?
Yeah, I've been to the kitchen.
Right? Yeah. All right. As Election Day draws near, Joe Biden, did we have a sighting?
I guess he's
of
alive.
the president?
Sure did.
We had a Biden sighting.
But it was pre-recorded, so don't get too excited.
Really?
Yeah.
Was it honestly pre-recorded?
Well, it was an interview that he did.
Okay.
So it wasn't like taking live questions.
Okay, well, he was asked about the peaceful transfer of power.
Okay.
Are you confident that there will be a peaceful transfer of power in January 2025?
If Trump wins, no, I'm not confident at all.
Oh.
I mean, if Trump loses, I'm not confident.
No, you had it right.
He means what he says. We don't take him seriously.
Old man.
He means it.
What?
All the stuff about if we lose, there'll be a bloodbath.
No.
Have to be a storm. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes.
Jeez.
Elected, they're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes, right?
Wow. Oh, my gosh.
There's so much there.
So dangerous.
Yes, it is.
So dangerous.
And you can.
And the lie about the bloodbath again.
Yeah,
disproven by everybody, including their own people.
You can hear a Pat scream when you preview these clips. You're like, oh, he'll be screaming right there. Yep. And Biden gave us a little belch there for extra benefit there in the last 10 seconds.
That's always fun.
Yeah,
that's nice.
Yeah, I don't know if anyone else caught that.
I did not catch that.
I did not catch it either.
Yeah. So
just play the last 10 seconds.
Last 10 seconds. Yep. Doesn't pot it up, Chris.
Have to be a stolen election. Look what they're trying to do now in the local election districts where people count the votes. Elected, they're putting people in place in states that they're going to count the votes.
Listen to that. Do you hear what he's upset about too? That Republicans are saying, all right, we're going to make sure that the votes are counted correctly. Oh my gosh, did you hear that? That is crazy talk. He wants people in place to count the votes? That's why we have machines. This is... But I love how he stumbled.
Well, they don't want any oversight.
Exactly. I love how he said it correctly at the beginning. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a peaceful transfer of power if Trump wins.
You're right.
Because Jamie Raskin has already given the indication on your party there, Joe, what you guys can expect.
Wow.
I mean, that Jamie Raskin clip and that Joe Biden clip go hand in hand.
They sure do. Man, just the irresponsible rhetoric that's coming out of this stupid old man. It is unconscionable that the president of the United States is saying this kind of stuff and lying about that kind of stuff. Lying, and he knows it's a lie. He knows Donald Trump was not talking about a literal bloodbath of people being murdered. He was talking about a bloodbath for the auto industry.
Yep.
And he just keeps doing this over and over and over. So on the campaign trail yesterday, Kamala talked about a question.
Okay.
So Wisconsin, ultimately, this election is about a question that we each face.
Okay.
We each face a question in this election.
She can't.
I love those.
She cannot help but suck.
I love those so much.
There's an ancient writing technique called chiasmus. She's like the master of it. It's where you say something and then you make a point, although she never gets to the point, so it's not exactly chiasmus. But you say something, make the point, and then you say it backward, inverted, and say it again. Okay. All right, that's chiasmus.
Sounds like a Led Zeppelin song or something. Right?
But, yeah.
You play it backwards.
But she does this kind of stuff. She's trying to sound deep and intelligent.
That's the thing. She sucks at everything.
Oh, my gosh. Just so bad.
She can't even fake it. She sucks at everything.
Yep. And then Mr. Folksy had this to say about not being a name caller.
I'm not a name caller, but what I am as a teacher, I observe things. So I want to tell you what I observed and you've observed about these guys when you see them, that it's a very clear thing. Yes, they are creepy and weird as hell. You see it.
Oh, but he's not a name caller. Again.
This is not normal. Right. This is not normal behavior. Nobody's asking for this crazy stuff.
And nobody's giving it except for you and your running mate.
They got nothing.
Jeez.
I can imagine what can be and be unburdened by what has been.
But he's not a name caller. Again, as he's telling you that. And of course, he's called him a weirdo multiple times. He's called J.D. Vance names multiple times. Donald Trump multiple times. What hypocrites.
Yep. I just, I hope Americans see this and for what it's worth and make the right decision.
It's why we point it out so much. I know it gets fatiguing to hear it all the time, but people have to know. And this has to be shared with others. Please, by all that is holy, tell your friends, neighbors, relatives who these people are. And you've got the evidence. You got a whole internet full of evidence. Wow.
Or just send them, you know what? Send them a link to this show.
Yeah, you can.
We'll take care of that for you.
It's a really good idea.
Copy,
Keith.
paste, send.
Wow. 888-900-3393. More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Got some tweets here. This from William Bartz. Don't despair, Pat. The info on your iPad, I dropped it this morning, shattered it. The info on your iPad is up in the cloud, right above you. Go outside and look up. It's right there.
Did you look up when you dropped it?
I didn't. No, I didn't. I forgot that it was just right there. And so I'll do that later. Reference to Kamala, if you're not aware. Rock and roll G-Mom, I'm worried also. These two, Harris and Walz, are the absolute end of our country. They will cheat like they did last time. Chicken Bucket, the Green New Deal money would be a line of camels from here to Pluto and back.
Oh, nice.
Wow. Okay.
That's a good measurement. I will say.
A line of camels.
I don't know if you saw the Senator, Shelley Caputo from West Virginia. You got Pete Ricketts of Nebraska. They were doing a presentation. You know how they go to the little room at the Senate anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And they were showing where a lot of this Green New Deal money was, where it's headed. And it will piss you off. We are funding domestic terrorist groups with your tax dollars. And they ain't building stuff with it. They're funding their little minions that hate America. That's
From Flensburg B, the Green New Deal will kill America. Right now, you're in troubled waters, but the U.S. can only bear so much debt. It'll go down fast.
Yeah.
Carolina Mimi.
Happy tweets.
I am a DeSantis girl and wish he'd been the Republican nominee. Of course, Trump is far better than anyone on the left. In my opinion, if you're voting for Harris-Walz, you're either a low-info voter or a Marxist, socialist, communist and hate America. Now, I think that about sums it up. Yep. Not even going to try to deny that or sugarcoat it or soft pedal it, because they certainly don't. So why should we anymore? I don't care.
And no quarter for low information voters at this point in our history as a country.
There's no excuse for it.
Things are so obviously bad, so terrible what is happening to our country. How could you not be paying close enough attention to make a decision in this election? Give me a break. That you're going to fall in line with Harris-Walz because, I don't know, she seems pretty nice. She laughs a lot. That's cool.
And I don't like Trump. I don't like him.
Pay attention.
Yeah, please, by all that is holy, pay attention. You remember how pissed off people used to get in 2008, 9, 10 when we'd call Barack Obama a socialist or a communist? You were a racist for calling him that. Really, a racist? What race are socialists? I didn't realize that was a race. But now you've got this guy.
Don't ever shy away from our progressive values. Mm-hmm. One person's socialism is another person's neighborliness.
Huh. Okay. All righty. Yeah, that's what Vlad thought, too. Vladimir Lenin. He thought that. It's just neighborliness, okay? We're just going to be good neighbors. All right? Mm-hmm. Maybe this is more appropriate. It was like, hi, neighbor. It's a beautiful day for communism. Mm-hmm. Can you say that? Communism. I knew you could. Could you be my comrade? It's a beautiful day for communists. A beautiful day for a commune. Would you be? Could you be my comrade? Mm-hmm. Sure. Not nice. Yeah. It's just neighborliness. Don't worry about it.
So much neighborliness from Pat Gray. Thank you.
I can't take it with these people. I mean, please tell me Americans are still concerned about somebody who is a socialist spewing Marxist rhetoric right in front of our faces. Hello? And not even denying it. Don't shy away from it. Don't run away from it. Just embrace it now. I guess that's the word with them. Pat's colony of homeless beavers tweets, I haven't been able to check on the Beavers in over a week now.
What?
I wonder how they're doing.
Oh no! Did they
out of
hold
the
on.
house? So we sold
Did
it.
you leave a forwarding address so they could keep in touch, send you a postcard or something?
Dang it! I did not. Not with the Beavers.
Okay, but you remember your old address? It was only a week ago. You could send them something.
I will.
A care package of
make
wood.
sure they're okay. That's a good idea. Yeah. It's way too early to watch Keith Math.
Well,
way too early.
Any time is too early for Keith Math.
And from Unrepentant Thought Criminal, the difference in Pennsylvania over last time is Scott Pressler.
Yes.
He's moved there and has held massive voter drives to register more Trump voters.
Yes, okay.
Oh.
That actually is a reason for hope. That man has worked around the clock. I'm so glad they reminded me of that cat. He's good. In fact, I was looking up his Twitter account here, and here's a message that he tweeted out the other day. To every RFK supporter, Kamala Harris just chose Tim Walz, who put COVID-positive patients into nursing homes. Walz is responsible for destroying families. If and when another pandemic appears, a Harris-Walz administration would result in lockdowns / loss of life. Consider Trump. See, but he is on the ground getting people registered. That was such a good reminder there of Scott Pressler. And by the way, 5 times August, he retweeted a Governor Tim Walz tweet from 2022 that reminded people that he was giving $200 to parents that would get their kids vaccinated. He was bribing parents to go get the COVID shot. And this was this is 2022. This is well after we knew there were issues with that thing. You can't.
He's not a good guy.
Yeah.
Not a good guy.
No.
And they're trying to pass him off as this just folksy. Midwestern, all-American coach and teacher. He's wonderful. Look how folksy he is.
Oh, and you know what? I forgot to point this out yesterday. That staged phone call, wasn't he wearing like a camo hat? Like, look at me, I sit around, I'm outdoorsy. I'm an outdoor hunter man like you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm pretty sure he was in a camo hat. Yeah,
we'll have to dredge that back up and take a peek. His military service is interesting. It's instantly become an issue in this campaign. So naturally, Nancy Pelosi was asked about the controversy over Tim Walz's service. And here's what Nancy had to say.
J.D. Vance has criticized him as never having been in combat.
Has he? Has he?
Well,
has J.D. Vance been in combat?
Stupid.
Well, I think he was over in Iraq, I think.
Yeah. You might want to study a little bit. You might want to look it up before you come on the air and accuse him of not having served in the military.
I mean, he was in a... I don't know what she was criticizing specifically, but he was obviously in Iraq.
Yeah, he was deployed.
I don't think he took fire. I think I read a quote from him. But I think she was trying to say... Who cares what Nancy Pelosi was trying to say? She sucks. But yeah.
Jeez.
I mean, they are... I think this Tim Walz military thing, I think, is going to stick. I love this.
Here he was 2 years ago. Listen carefully to this. Tim Walz.
But we can do background checks. We can do CDC research. We can make sure we don't have reciprocal carry among states. And we can make sure that those weapons of war that I carried in war is the only place where those weapons are at.
Yeah! Screw the Second Amendment. Yeah! Woo!
Okay. I mean, it's obviously that's terrifying in of itself, him wanting to go after your guns. But did you catch what he said there? He said, the weapons of war that I carried in war, right? No, that's not accurate.
Right.
You were in Italy. I don't know. When's the last time we fought Italy? Was he
World War II?
He might have been in World War II. Is that how old he is?
Yeah. So that's obviously what he was referring to when he landed in Sicily and then moved up to Italy, and then...
But you see, this is what Tim Walz does. He tries to sow these little seeds in there and say stuff like, I carried a weapon of war in war.
Right. Except, no.
Yeah.
No, you didn't. And I don't want to disparage his military service, but don't claim you did things you didn't do. Even CNN questioned Walz military claims.
Walz did make a comment speaking to a group. He's done it a couple of times where he has used language that has suggested that he carried weapons in a fighting situation.
Okay.
As you know, with your contact with the military, I know from coming from a military family, there is a difference between being in a combat area, being involved at a time of war, and actually being in a position where people are shooting at you. There is no evidence that at any time Governor Walz was in a position of being shot at, and some of his language could easily be seen to suggest that he was. So that is absolutely false when he said that about gun rights out there.
Wow.
Thank you, CNN.
How about that? MSNBC even acknowledged the controversy.
I get the sense that the Harris campaign is ready for these attacks, but I have to tell you, Kristen, they're not engaging directly on whether or not he was falsifying his record, his military record. They are, of course, as you said, pointing out that he does have a history of service, both in the National Guard, but also as a teacher, as someone who was a governor, as someone who was a congressional member. So they're sort of leaning in on the fact that he's someone who wants to serve America. And yesterday, when he was in Philadelphia, he was also making that point, saying that they want this to be a people-powered campaign and a people-centered administration if they are elected to the White House. But it's very interesting to see them say, yes, he does have a sort of a long history in the military and joined at 17, has trained people who did go into combat zones, is what one source told me, but also is not engaging directly on whether or not he falsified here.
And so, J.D. Vance discussed military service with reporters as well.
I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made something myself, to me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre. Now, look, what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far-left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control. He said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets.
You didn't use it in war?
Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me, that I was able to make something of myself. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did.
Nice. I'm so glad they're calling him out on this.
They sure are.
They'd certainly do it.
This is sticking.
Yeah.
Really is.
And the guy who replaced Walz for that deployment has actually come out and gave a statement in interviews.
We're going to play that coming up here. But this is what Tim Walz said, and I've heard it pronounced Walz or Waltz, like the dance. Which is correct? Do we know?
He's going to be dancing when he's answering questions about his military service.
Yeah, and here he is in 2007 doing just that.
Listen to this.
What's your background, and how did somebody from Nebraska end up in Minnesota?
Yeah, well, my wife's from Minnesota, so she took me there. Actually, it was based on the educational system in Minnesota was one that we kind of aspired to teach in. So I ended up in southern Minnesota. My wife's been there for many generations. So.
And your military background?
I spent 24 years in the National Guard, some of that full-time. I was an artilleryman. I deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom. My battalion provided
he deployed
base security throughout the European theater from Turkey to England in the early stages of the war in Afghanistan. And that same battalion is now in Iraq at this time.
That's interesting.
But when you were there,
that's interesting.
You were based, they said, from Turkey to England. Is that what he said?
That's what he said, yeah.
And I know for a fact he was in Italy.
Yes.
Which is different than
there was a lot of action though going on in Italy, wasn't there?
Planes were flying, bombs were dropping.
And again, Pat and I, we're not disparaging anybody that has served on any level whatsoever.
No, sir.
Just don't lie about it.
Right.
Which is exactly, and I can't wait till we play that clip that you're referring to. This guy is,
because it's one of the men in his unit, right?
Yeah.
It's talking about it.
And this guy has been trying since 2018, when Walz originally ran for governor, to get people to listen. And finally, they are. I don't know what happened to this guy, by the way.
Jeez.
This Walz character. I mean, he came out of a very red county where they were voting 76% for Trump.
Oh, yeah.
It's just what?
He mentions that.
He does.
How did that?
I don't know.
I don't know how you become that far left.
All right. You know, the economy has been crashing the last few days, and healthcare costs are out of control. But Lassie Health is here to shake things up for you. That's Laasy, Lassie Health. It's not health insurance. It's access to health care you want without all the red tape, restrictions, and highly inflated cost. Coverage starts at just $30 a month. You get transparent pricing, comprehensive coverage, tailored to meet your needs. So you're not paying for a whole bunch of things that you don't need or want. You get access to the health care you need. For only $30 a month, you get over 400 prescription medications for free. Unlimited virtual mental health counseling, free 24/7 virtual urgent care, lab tests up to 60% off, imaging tests up to 75% off, procedures and surgeries over 50% off. You can even get plans with vision and dental, primary care, and comprehensive health share coverage. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, diabetes, they're not considered pre-existing conditions as long as you haven't been hospitalized in the last 12 months before you enroll. So check out these affordable plans that put you in control of your health care. That's where you should be, in control. HealthyLink.com/Pat is where to go. For a limited time, get your first month free, up to $100 off eligible plans. Get healthy, be healthy, stay healthy without breaking the bank at HealthyLink.com/Pat. All right. We're going to play this guy who was in Tim Walz' unit. This should be interesting. It's fairly lengthy, so we didn't have time for it here. But we'll get to it right after the top. It's so important. It's critical for you to know who this man is, who wants to be a heartbeat away from becoming president of the United States. I mean, it's bad enough that Kamala Harris could be. This guy's even worse. I didn't think that was possible for her to choose a running mate that was worse than she is. Somehow she managed. So congratulations on that. I guess I underestimated her terribleness. I'll try not to do that again. More coming up. Hang on.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
With a few tweets, Pinky is the brain tweets. Did you see Youngkin's executive order involving elections? Pretty good stuff. Possibility of winning in Virginia went up a little. I did not see that either. Pace shock. What amazes me on a daily basis is how fast the evil in this world has become apparent and how it's done right before our eyes. End times? Maybe. Sweater yams? I not only hope Trump wins, but I pray he does a fraction of what the left fears he will do. They really are terrified of what he'll do. Yeah, they certainly are. Super Dan tweets, every time I hear Kamala speak, I'm reminded of how I'd BS a few sentences into a 5-paragraph essay in high school.
That's exactly
just what she's doing. Yeah.
Yes, that's
exactly right.
What my oldest said the other day. She goes, listening to a Kamala Harris speech, it's like she's trying to fill out a term paper. Like she needs a few more sentences to get to the bottom of that page.
You need 1,000 words in this. And so you're trying to stretch it out every way possible, saying the same thing over and over again. Adrian Slade, I remember the days when getting a DUI or faking your military service was career-ending.
Right.
The 2000s were so long ago. Isn't that the truth? Yeah, guy's got a DUI. He faked his military service. Well, part of it anyway. Yeah, you're right. That used to be the death knell for a political career. That used to preclude you from being picked to be vice president. Certainly she knew about all this stuff. They vetted this guy. They know. They didn't care. They just did not care.
But Pat, we can't have a Jew in our ticket. So
right,
we'll
that's
take
right.
A liar over a Jew.
Yep, exactly. All right, here's that 5-minute news report from Alpha News about Tim Walz's military service record that we didn't get to yesterday. Listen to this.
The public needs to know how pathetic his leadership was as a National Guardsman.
On a 150-year-old farm in Brewster, Tom Behrens hopes his tell-it-like-it-is style will finally get the attention he believes it deserves in Minnesota's race for governor. In a way, he's back again to wage a public war of words against Tim Walz.
He abandoned us, you know. I mean, what the hell kind of leader does that? I mean, he just, as soon as the shots were fired in Iraq, he turned and ran the other way and hung his hat up and quit.
We'll get to Behrens' new message for voters in a moment. But this all starts years earlier when Behrens says Walz's misleading statements about his military service first led him to come forward in the fall of 2018.
So you try to get this message out, but Minnesota's largest newspaper checks it out, says it's 100% true, but yet refuses to print it.
When I hung the phone up, I said, what the hell is this, North Korea?
Back in 2005, a warning order went out to the 1st Battalion, 125th Field Artillery to mobilize for a mission to Iraq. At the time, Walz served as the unit's highest non-commissioned officer, but months later, Walz would retire from the Guard, avoid the deployment, and run for Congress. Tom Behrens was next in line for the position and was asked to take his place.
I was like, well, for Pete's sake, this guy quit. And if I say I'm not going to do it, I mean, what the hell kind of leadership is that? If a company would say that we're going to deploy to Iraq or somewhere and you're going to be gone for whatever amount of time, and then the foreman just says, no, I'm not going. I mean, what does that say to the 500 people that work in that factory?
Behrens would go on to serve in Iraq on a nearly 2-year deployment as a command sergeant major. All while Walz began using that title as a congressman. Behrens says he first contacted Walz with his concerns, sending these letters to Washington. They all went unanswered.
But then we fast forward to the election in 2018 in Minnesota, and you try at that time to get people's attention with this story and also with what seems to be a very misleading statement that he continued to make about his service.
It kind of just sat there. You know, when he was a congressman, he bragged that he was a command sergeant, retired command sergeant major. I'm the highest ranking person ever in the House, and you know, all this lie that he was telling. The state of Minnesota came out after 2018, after this was exposed, and they said, well, he can say that he served as a command sergeant major, but he can't say he's a retired one because he's not.
And that's what he was saying.
And he was saying that, and there was lots of lots of cards coming in the mail, for him to be elected. They said right on there he's a retired command sergeant major, just tooting his own horn, just hanging on the coattails of people that actually are command sergeant majors that went through all the process and put all the time in.
A spokesperson for the Minnesota National Guard said Walz wasn't able to retire as a command sergeant major since he failed to complete coursework and requirements related to the rank. Verified documents show the Army corrected his service record. Walz was reduced in rank to an E8 Master Sergeant after retirement and his conditional promotion. Alpha News again asked Governor Walz if he's using the command sergeant major rank on his campaign website for political gain this year. A spokesperson said this has been in the news before and pointed us to a past story where Walz said, quote, normally this type of partisan political attack only comes from one who's never worn a uniform.
There it is.
It's stolen valor is really what it is. I don't know of anybody else that's done what he's done. But we called it the truth about Tim Walz.
In 2018, Behrens gave the story the full court press.
Jeez.
We, retired command sergeant majors of the Minnesota National Guard, feel it is our duty and responsibility to bring forth the truth as we know it concerning his service record. I put together information on it and I sent it out to every single radio station and newspaper and TV station I could in the state. The bottom line in all of this is gut-wrenching and sad to explain. When the nation called, he quit.
Twin Cities TV stations and the Star Tribune were silent, even after Behrens says the newspaper checked it all out. The Star-Tribune endorsed Walz in 2018 for governor.
Wow.
Between lockdowns, riots, unchecked crime, and a charred police precinct, Behrens felt he had no choice but again to come forward.
Allowing that to be burned down was just like having the Alamo get burned down. It's like, no, you defend that to the last man. If he would have went to Iraq, he'd still be hiding under his desk over there. Because that's just the cowardice that I seen portrayed with him.
So how about when he also comes out and he calls you guys 19-year-old cooks?
I'd take any 19-year-old cook before I'd go to war with him. I don't know how he could even utter such a statement. I mean, it's just absolutely sad.
So this election year, it's all built up again to Barron's new grain bin message.
He called Jacob Fry an abject failure. So I was like, that's what he is.
Walz is a traitor, also made a return.
And the last one I put together, he said it himself too, as well. If they don't like my job, they can vote me out. So I wrote, we got to vote him out. We need to vote him out.
Wow.
But that's interesting. So if you question this, the Tim Walz response is, well, you've never worn the uniform, so how dare you question my service? But what was this? Can you explain this, Kris, what they alluded to there? So Walz didn't take the necessary coursework, didn't hold that rank long enough to have it in retirement?
In order for him to keep that rank, he needed to serve the contract, because everything in the military is contract. So he did not complete the courses, so he did not go to college for it. So not only he did not go to the college for the command sergeants, he didn't hold that rank.
Right. So for him to go around saying that I'm a retired command sergeant major, I mean, that is stolen valor.
Yes.
Because his rank is actually
master sergeant, I believe it is.
And it's a flat-out lie.
Yes.
He's just lying about his service. And he tries to allude to the fact that he was deployed to Iraq, but he wasn't.
Even if because I can see what he's trying to do. Well, I supported the troops that deployed to Iraq from when I was stationed. It doesn't count.
Right.
And by the way, Operation Enduring Freedom, that's not that one. So he even got the
he got the operation wrong?
Operation wrong. And that's what a lot of people were calling him yesterday on social media. It's like, dude, you even got the operation wrong. So which one were you at? Were you in Afghanistan or Iraq?
Make the lie believable.
Yes.
But boy, the way he parses the words around this about how I was in a battalion that was sent to Iraq. Catch that?
And because you trained them, that doesn't mean you went to war. Because that's another one that he does. Where he said, like, oh, I trained that battalion. Okay, cool. But that doesn't mean that what they did is on you. Their survival is on you because you train them well, but them actively going there is not on you. It's on them.
Not good. And again, this used to end your political career. I mean, when this came out about John Kerry and they accused Bush of swift boating him, you remember all that? It really did hurt John Kerry. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Will this hurt Tim Walz? I don't know. We'll see,
and
I
that's
guess.
the other part of this is that, okay, he's the VP candidate. Like people might be going in there to vote for Kamala. And you're
But then also, we no longer like the military anymore, so no one really cares if he's stolen valor. Because it's like such a negative thing to do right now.
On the left,
they don't care.
Sure.
Also yesterday, Kamala Harris, Tim Walz, and J.D. Vance all landed at the same airport. Vance landed just ahead of reporters that were waiting for Harris, so he walked over to them, and here's what happened.
Guys, how are you? So I know you're covering the Vice President here. I figured I'd come by and one, just give a good look at the plane. Hopefully it's going to be my plane in a few months. But I also thought you guys might get lonely because the Vice President doesn't answer questions from reporters and hasn't for 17 days. Have they given you guys an explanation for why she won't take questions from reporters? No? Nobody? Okay, great. Well, I hope that she changes her mind because it'd be good for the American people, and I think it'd be good for you all if she actually ran a real campaign instead of one from a basement with a teleprompter. So have a good one, guys. See ya. What would you like to hear from her? I'd love her to answer some questions. I'd love her to just answer what she wants to do and also explain why every single position she has changed. She She pretends to be a prosecutor, yet she pretends to be a tough on crime prosecutor, and yet here she is wanting to beat on the police. She's the border czar, yet she's opened up the American southern border. This is a person who has to answer the questions from the media, and it's disgraceful that she runs for you guys. It's also insulting for the American people. But anyway, we're going to go do our event. I appreciate you guys being here. I wish she paid you some more attention. See ya.
Hold on a second. That's a lot of SUVs there, so...
Yeah. No, well, they care about the environment.
I see.
Yeah, they care about the environment, so... Yeah, they don't want you to have an SUV, but their SUVs are different because they need them. They have to have them. They're the ones out there on the front lines fighting this fight for us.
So what was that, 24 cars driving the vice president away?
Yes.
Okay. So this next clip we had, so this happened before J.D. Vance talked to the reporters because he noticed that she wasn't giving them the time of day. That's okay, so here we go. All right, that makes sense now.
So no doubt she walked over to him and talked like JD did, right?
No,
No?
No.
Huh.
No. This is as close as the press could get to her.
And the press is asking, hey, what about stolen valor?
Yeah.
Can her comment on that?
They're yelling.
Oh, did they?
Yeah,
Yes,
right
they
here.
did.
Oh, that's great. Awesome. So she's taking questions from children, but not the reporters.
Yeah.
I see. The kids will probably appreciate her answers too, so that's good.
Stolen valor.
Yeah, stolen valor. Yeah, I can't hear you.
The woman has been the nominee for, we're almost to 3 weeks now, come Sunday.
Wow.
Since Biden tweeted out his endorsement. And she hasn't answered one question.
That's
she hasn't answered one question. I mean, this is
incredible.
I couldn't vote for someone just on that alone. Someone hiding like that.
It's amazing. She's trying to do what Biden did in 2020, and it worked for him, so she probably thinks, it'll work for me too. I'll just hide in my basement.
Yeah, and in Pat, I don't know if you looked at the detail that was guarding J.D. Vance, and here's a picture of that detail. No, not the video, the detail. Let's pray for J.D. Vance because...
oh, man.
She looks familiar.
She looks very familiar.
Oh, no.
I can't pinpoint where I've seen her before.
Oh, no.
Oh, my gosh.
I just want to make sure that that's on the record, that this is his detail protecting him right now.
Wow. Jeez.
Yikes.
That's chilling. All right, let me tell you about the Eden Pure Thunderstorm air purifier. They're having their famous BOGO deal right now. So when you buy one, you get one free. You buy 10, you get 10 free. It's a great deal. This is a nice way to stock up on whole home protection. The Thunderstorm will completely eliminate any odors. It could come from pets. It could come from garbage, litter boxes. I guess that would apply to pets, wouldn't it? Cooking odors, whatever the case may be, this will eliminate it. It sends out the O3 molecules, doesn't have any filters in it, so you don't have to worry about replacing them, paying for them, none of that. Gets out odors even behind furniture. It's fantastic. The Eden Pure Thunderstorm. Go to EdenPureDeals.com. That's EDEN, EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code PATBOGO this week. PATBOGO. Pat Bogo. That's EdenPureDeals.com. Discount code PatBogo.
You're listening to Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. Some tweets here. Lone Wolf 2965 tweets. I guess I'm not a very good neighbor because I've never approached any of my neighbors and demanded some of their stuff. Huh. Yeah, you're not. That's not a good neighbor. And State Farm is not there.
Oh, wait a minute.
You're not a good neighbor.
Wait a minute.
We have something new, don't we?
Yeah.
What?
Pat was down the hall during overtime yesterday.
Yeah, he was.
It might be a good time to at least hold the
Get back to the stuff that Mary
Beth Long sent. There
that one.
This
You'll
one?
appreciate that one. Just read it.
Just the one.
All right.
Yep. Hold that up. That'll be a good one for you.
Oh, like a good neighbor, stay over there.
Perfect. Thank you.
I like that. That's really
so
good. Like a good neighbor.
Yeah.
Stay over there.
That's good.
We recommend you put that on the front of the door.
I'm going
right
to.
In the reef.
Yep. I'm going
in the
to.
center of the reef.
That's nice. In my last neighborhood, in my little snooty, bougie neighborhood that we just left, never once did any of our neighbors ever approach us. I mean, we went over and took cookies and introduced ourselves and brought gifts at Christmas time and stuff like that. But the other day, okay, I haven't even been there a week yet, and my neighbor makes a point of coming out of his house.
That's awesome.
Walking out, jumping up onto the driveway, coming up, shaking my hand.
Oh, you didn't run away?
I was scared to death. I thought, what are you doing? Whoa, 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 whoa. What are you doing, man?
I thought I was going to ask you if you took out your guns, but you lost them in a boat accident. So you were defenseless.
I lost them all, so I had no defense. Yeah, so that's why I was so scared.
Wow.
Turned out it was okay. He just shook my hand and introduced himself. It was really cool. It was very nice. Never happened in 12 years at the other place.
So this neighborhood is already welcoming you.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's nice.
Yeah, you'll never see that guy again.
Yep.
That's probably true.
One and done.
But Mary Beth Long writes, Pat, it's a shame. It also means new neighbors. Congrats on the move. Yeah, I'm not sure this is a congratulatory sort of situation. I'm getting used to it. Okay. It's not bad. You know, we're in a temporary shelter right now.
Oh, no, you're in a shelter?
We're in a
I am so sorry.
Yeah, we're in the hood. You have to come over and see it. It's a little lean-to.
I was going to say,
can I fit?
Do I fit into the
No,
doorway?
but you can see it from the outside.
Oh, from the outside.
Yeah, the whole home is visible from the outside. It's kind of it's snug. It's snug.
You should look at the rest of these gifts over here from her while you're at it. I mean, you got some good stuff there.
Life is tough, but it's tougher when you're stupid.
That's a John Wayne quote, I believe.
Is that actually from John Wayne?
I don't know. I didn't look it up, but it...
Warning. My sense of humor might hurt your feelings.
Oh, that's a good one to post also.
Oh, look at this.
There it is.
Now, Mary Beth must be a BYU fan, too, right? She sends a lot of...
Or she loves you that much and recognizes that you love BYU.
Gift
100 years of BYU football. They're celebrating that this entire season. Very cool.
Oh, so this is the 100th season then?
The 100th season. Because they didn't play for 2 years in the 1940s during World War II. So they actually started in 1922. But
I see. I got
2 years off for the war.
Oh, that's cool.
Speaking of the Cougars, did you see anybody watch the 3,000-meter steeplechase in the Olympics yesterday?
Nope.
Okay. All right. Well,
finish the news.
Former BYU Cougar Kenneth Rooks took the silver medal.
Nice.
It's only our third medal since 1984 in that event. That's we only had two going into this event. He won a silver yesterday, so that was awesome. He came from last place to almost win this thing at the very end. It was awesome.
That is cool.
Really awesome. Yeah.
Very
so
good.
Congratulations to Kenneth Rooks. Anyway, we got through what? One
tweet.
One tweet. Sons of Thunder 44. Walz has studied the playbook of Joey. Exaggerate and lie about your life experiences. No, he's doing that really well. Yeah. Lesson learned. Let's get weird. Tweets, JD Vance is a success story. Socialists hate success. Isn't that the truth?
Yep.
Robert the Hoosier, the IRS leaked Trump's tax returns. Has anyone leaked Waltz's DD-214 yet? Is there a copy out there? I guess that's a military paper of some
that's
sort?
a record. Every veteran that I know has their DD-214 in their pocket. And basically what it shows is a history of your medals, your rank, your station, all that stuff.
Does yours, you have yours, right?
I do. It's in my phone, yeah.
Does it have a photo of the gate you guarded?
I thought.
Asking for Jeffy. Asking for a friend.
Okay.
Yeah.
It does. It's under attachments.
Oh, okay,
yeah,
good.
It is. But if you do want
so it brings back nice memories.
Now, if you want to look at the gate that I watch over in Afghanistan, I did post a picture yesterday because there was a thing happening that veterans were posting their "I'm not Tim Walz" pictures. And it was just veterans saying,
funny.
"Hey, here, I deployed," unlike Tim Walz did.
Oh, that's great.
Good. Go to my social media and look at the gate.
Wait a minute. I'm looking at these pictures of you.
The gate is right behind.
That's what I'm looking for. Where's this?
You see me with the Afghanis?
Yeah.
That's the gate behind them. Yes.
So this is young Kris Cruz. What year are we looking at?
This is 2009.
Look at that.
Wow.
Look at that baby face.
I know.
Look at him. Oh, isn't that adorable?
That's cute.
Yes,
right?
and I'm holding.
That's our boy right there, all grown up.
Yep.
And I'm holding an AK-47.
And with an AK-47.
Hang on. So here we go.
No, it's an AK-47.
Yeah,
Aren't
it
those
was.
Chinese?
Those were the weapons that we were given the Afghanis.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And so
there's a gate right there, right behind it. That's a gate.
Oh, that's a gate. Oh,
yes.
Oh, that's a barrier right there. Yeah.
I can still smell that gate. Oh.
There was a smell to the gate.
Who's this guy?
Yes.
That was the leader of the
Bob.
Afghani.
Bob,
and he
the
was
leader
the one
of the
that was
Afghans.
in charge of all the Afghanis that was searching trucks.
Is his name Bob?
What's his name?
It was Bob. Yeah.
Bob. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Bob Muhammad, but he went by Bob.
I don't like the cut of Bob's jib. I mean, he looks.
No, Bob looks like he could snap your neck at any moment.
He's on the wrong side of the gate. Chris.
He liked to joke around about, I can choke you. I'm like, oh, yes, you can.
Who jokes like that?
do not
What?
come close to
That's
me.
not funny. Did you tell Bob that's not funny?
I did, but
I could kill
There's
you.
been too many instances
Yes.
of supposed friendly Afghans.
Were you armed when Bob said
yes,
this
if you
to
go back to that picture, my chest, that's where my 9mm, right? Just in case I can just
I don't
shoot
like.
him.
Hold on. No, this is interesting. I don't like how Bob's hand is that close to
my
your
weapon. Yeah.
Because he could reach
look at
down in
that.
front there and just grab it. I don't care for
but
that.
he didn't.
Yeah.
But Bob
Look
Muhammad,
you look like you're 12 years old there, Chris.
Well, yeah.
19,
Wow.
What year was this again?
2009.
Wow.
09. 19 in 09.
So you were born in.
I was 4. I was 4 years old in 09. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
I was born in
weird.
89.
Jeez. Shut up. Okay?
Yeah, that's a good.
No more talking
good plan.
from you.
Good plan.
No more talking. Tom Karnick tweets, "Oh yeah, I remember Tampon Tim served in Italy during the Great Spaghetti and Meatballs operation."
There it is. That's why he got the name wrong.
Yeah, and I don't want to disparage anybody's military service, but you served in the military. You don't have to lie about it.
Yeah, we're disparaging your lies about your service.
Right. All right, 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Let's see. Finishing off the tweets from a few minutes ago. Spunker 1300R. Every style of firearm ever developed is or has been a weapon of war. That's very true. And the other night in Philadelphia, Kamala promised an assault weapons ban, just like Tim Walz has in the past.
And together, when we win in November, we are finally going to pass universal background checks.
Which we essentially have already.
And an assault weapons ban.
Red flag laws. And an assault.
Wow.
Good times are coming, huh?
Here's Kamala on Donald Trump and the DOJ.
When you think about what that court decision means, Donald Trump has openly vowed if reelected, he will be a dictator on day one.
Oh, shut up.
That he would weaponize the Department of Justice against his political enemies. That he would round up peaceful
Wait, pause
protesters.
it. You mean like you guys just did?
I know.
Against him?
I know, man.
Is that what you mean?
Not just him.
Huh?
Ask the
Okay.
J6ers.
Well, yeah. All right, let her finish.
He would round up peaceful protesters and throw them out of our country.
Again.
And even, quote, terminate the United States Constitution.
What? Was that a quote?
I don't know, man.
She just said, quote, terminate the U.S. Constitution. What?
All right, I'm Googling.
Are you seeing that quote from him?
I don't know, man. I'm still looking.
Then as far as Tim Walz, here's what MSNBC's Joy Reid had to say about him.
got to be honest and keep it real. This is not the pick that I expected that she would make. It did come down to the final 3, as we understand it, and I thought she would go astronaut. Keeping it real. He, to me, would have been the safest, most conventionally safe pick. White, super white, like, mayonnaise sandwich on Wonder Bread, right? From the, from a
but
border
that's okay,
state.
I guess.
He could have
That's
made a strong argument for her.
Yeah, that's not racist at all. That's good. Good for you.
Oh, my goodness.
Wow. If you described a black person in a similar way, wonder how that would be received.
Wonder how.
That's it's perfectly acceptable, of course, for her to do that to white people, I guess. Whatever. All right. In the past, Walz has made it very clear that he is very pro-choice.
This is evil, man.
And my record is so pro-choice, Nancy Pelosi asked me if I should tone it down. I stand with Planned Parenthood, and we won.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
There's a lot of evil on the left.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Nancy Pelosi asked him to tone it down.
He stands with Planned Parenthood. By the way, Planned Parenthood, not just a big abortion provider, they're one of the nation's largest suppliers of testosterone. You aware of that? Why are they supplying testosterone to people? Well, for Christina Heinemann, the situation felt urgent. She was 17, and she needed treatment at Planned Parenthood where she knew she wouldn't be subjected to humiliating questions, unnecessary waiting periods or lectures or prying about her certainty. But it wasn't an abortion she sought. It was testosterone. Planned Parenthood was founded, according to this article, a century ago to promote birth control. No, Planned Parenthood was founded a century ago to kill black babies and other undesirables, as Margaret Sanger labeled them. And don't take my word for that. Read up on eugenicist Margaret Sanger, who went to Germany to advise the Nazis about how to get rid of undesirable people in society. Anyway, the article goes on. Today, it's nearly 600 clinics nationwide make it the largest single provider of abortion, contraception, reproductive care, and sex education. Oh, okay, and testosterone now. And just another little side note here in this story from the AP. The number of women getting abortions in the U.S. actually went up in the first 3 months of 2024 compared with before the Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade. So that's after going up last year as well. In the U.S. alone, there were over 1 million babies aborted, which seems kind of strange, doesn't it, for a right that was taken away by Republicans, the Supreme Court, Donald Trump, doesn't it? More people took advantage of a right that was removed? How'd that happen? That's really strange. I guess Republicans better brush up on how to remove rights from the American people because they're not very good at it. Anyway, back to the Planned Parenthood testosterone story. It also has, in less than a decade, become the country's leading provider of gender transition hormones for young adults.
There it is.
In 2015, around 24 other clinics began offering this service. Now it's available at almost 450 locations.
Wow.
Insurance claim information provided to the Free Press by the Manhattan Institute shows that at least 40,000 patients went to Planned Parenthood for this purpose last year alone, a number that's risen tenfold since 2017. The largest proportion, about 40%, were 18 to 22-year-olds. Back to Christina Heinemann, faced with her parents' skepticism. So they were a little concerned about her, going from girl to boy. So she waited to make the appointment till just after her 18th birthday in November of 2021 at the Planned Parenthood in Hudson, New York. Some clinics offer hormones starting at age 16 with parental approval, but as a legal adult, Heinemann wouldn't need their consent. After she filled out forms in the Planned Parenthood waiting room, a nurse led her to an exam room and handed her a consent form for masculinizing hormone therapy. Records show that a nurse practitioner asked about Hyman's identity and desires. She noted that patient has consulted with a mental health provider, meaning Hyman had previously talked to therapists. The two discussed the expected changes related to testosterone, growing a beard and body hair, deepening her voice, and that changes to fertility may be permanent or reversible. Could go either way. Then the first nurse took Hyman's blood, and she was given a prescription for testosterone gel. She remembers all of this taking maybe 30 minutes. Half an hour to change her gender. Like many others in the rising wave of female teens seeking to masculinize, she'd been battling a cluster of mental health problems, self-harm, depression, anxiety. Also, like many of these teens, Hyman has autism. The COVID lockdown exacerbated her troubles. She said, I couldn't see my friends. I couldn't see my girlfriend. I was depressed and scared in my room, ruminating all the time. Mm-hmm. The viral YouTubers she was watching convinced her that gender was the problem. This is why this is on the rise like it is. This is why it's skyrocketing like it is. It's a social contagion now. Thank you, social media. She said, I was like, oh my gosh, trans includes all the things I've been feeling. My discomfort with my chest, my discomfort with being called young woman, not being sure of who I was or what I wanted to be. Just over a year into treatment, Hyman realized she made a terrible mistake. And the gender was not the source of her problems. I was brainwashed, she says now. A lot of people say that adults should be able to do whatever they want, but if you have a mental illness that's clouding your view, or you're so misinformed about what gender dysphoria even means, then you can't consent to such invasive treatments. Yeah. That's what we've been kind of trying to say here for some time now. She went from identifying as non-binary to agender to trans over the course of a year, and now she considers herself a detransitioner, someone who, if possible, has returned to living as their birth sex, often with medical side effects.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. And I mean, that's not surprising. That Planned Parenthood would be in the hormone treatment transition business because
they're in the evil business.
They're in the evil and they're in the birth control business. And what better way?
Right.
Like, we don't have to worry about abortions if we can just sterilize the young people in this country.
Right.
From the get-go.
So she's suing them now. And her suit comes as the U.S. is increasingly alone, this is from the AP, in championing hormonal and surgical interventions to swiftly transition gender-distressed young people. Now get this, a growing list of European countries, including Sweden, Finland, and the UK, are restricting these sometimes irreversible treatments for young people and favoring an approach that encourages therapy to address all the causes of a patient's distress.
Wow.
Wait, you don't jump right to just lopping off body parts or stopping the natural growth of their body? Why? This is incredible. Europe is making more sense right now than the United States of America on multiple issues, but especially this.
Yeah, we're the radical country when it comes to
really
destroying babies and children in this country.
Gosh.
We're evil. We're just an evil country when it comes to that. We've allowed it to permeate, to exist and permeate.
Yeah, it's really, really sad and scary.
Yeah, and you talked about how social media influencers really screwed up that one girl. They're working overtime here on the Kamala Harris campaign, and with good reason. They're getting paid. It's not grassroots. I know, shocking, right? Mm-hmm. Have you seen this this TikToker here?
All right, guys, time for some drag queen story hour. So about a week ago, I received this email from a group called Palette Media or Palette Management. And basically what they were asking for is $1,500 for anti-Trump content on TikTok. So they basically sent me this kind of like creator brief with all the asks that they have and everything, and like do's and don'ts, like don't show any form of support for Donald Trump and his allies, gloat about Harris and her allies, attack Trump supporters for their intellectual or personal values. So they're basically creating division and paying for division online, which is crazy. So me being me, I was like, I kind of got to investigate this stuff. So I started like emailing back and forth with the lady. So I basically said, thank you for sending over. I will review. Is this for the Kamala campaign or for like a PAC's campaign? And basically I was able to investigate and find out that this is actually a campaign with Future Forward, which is kind of like one of the biggest super PACs, and they have like millions and millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars for advertisements for the Biden campaign and for the Harris campaign. So of course I looked them up and I found out all this information about all the money that they have, and yeah, you can look up them right here. Anyway, I just kind of wanted to come on to show you guys that, yes, I'll sell my booty, but I ain't going to sell my values.
He'll sell his booty, but not his values.
Anybody buying the booty? I'm not. I'm not in the buying mood.
You're not in the booty buying business?
No, I'm not.
Oh, that's the BBB. I always thought it was the Better Business Bureau.
No, it's the booty buying business. So now you know. Now you know.
I mean, you come to this show to get educated, y'all. You're welcome.
So how much do they get for it? Did it say? $1,500 just for one post? Oh, wow. No wonder. Oh, it's unbelievable. It's incredible.
Get your kids off TikTok.
Yeah, exactly right. All right, let me tell you about Jay's case. You like the bird flu? There's new cases of it popping up right now. It is the new COVID, which is really fun because wasn't COVID a blast? Oh, man. There is something you can do to ensure that you and your loved ones have medication on hand when you need it. It's called the Jace case. Looks just like this. Comes with 5 antibiotics and add-ons, too. Things like ivermectin, things like EpiPens, really critical stuff that can be life-saving. So it's great in the case of an emergency if there's like a shortage. And if bird flu kicks into gear, there's going to be shortages. And you know that because there's already shortages. Is it going to get better or worse if there is a pandemic? I wonder. So Jace is hosting an exclusive giveaway right now where you can win a Jace case for life. Yeah, you could win a Jace case every year for the rest of your life. There is no purchase necessary to enter, so don't miss out. This giveaway only runs until August 31st, so the last day of this month. Enter right now. Go to jace.com/Pat, and when you buy, enter the promo code Pat at checkout and get a discount on your order. That's promo code Pat at JASE, jace.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
This is pretty exciting. Here's some promises of what Kamala is going to do on day one if she's elected.
Okay.
Now, how much do you want her?
Because while our economy is doing well by many measures,
Is it?
prices for everyday things like groceries are still too high.
Yeah, under your administration.
You know it
Yeah.
and I know it.
Yeah.
You know, when I was Attorney General, I went after price-fixing schemes. And when I am president, it will be a day one priority to fight to bring down prices.
All right.
I will take on big corporations that engage in illegal price gouging. I will
Wait.
take on corporate
Hold it.
landlords that unfairly raise rents
All
on
this
working
stuff.
families.
If I could
I will
ask,
take on big
is-
pharma and cap the
Excuse
cost
me.
of prescription
No.
drugs
Kamala,
for all
take-
Americans.
Ms. Harris, Madam
And
Vice
continue
President,
to bring manufacturing
if
jobs
I could,
back to America.
just a question, Madam
and
Vice
back to communities
President,
like Eau Claire.
If I could, I just quick question.
Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Why don't you do that right now? Since I don't know, you're Vice President of the United States. Why don't you do that now? You and Mr. Brain Dead.
Yeah, I forgot his
that
name.
we don't see anymore. Why don't you guys do that right now?
Isn't that incredible?
You've had 4 freaking years. Do it now.
She's campaigning against Joe Biden.
Yeah.
And herself.
And herself. She's campaigning literally against herself. Hey, Pumpkin, You are responsible for the high prices at the gas pump, at the grocery store, rent, mortgage, high interest rates. You're responsible for all of that. My gosh.
This is a bizarro world.
I don't understand how this race is within 40 points
Amen.
of Donald Trump. He should be up by 40 right now. Man.
And Pat Gray will not stop broadcasting until a poll is released that shows Donald Trump up by 40 points.
I guarantee you that. Yes.
See
that's
that?
right.
See?
That's right.
We're going to do a marathon
exactly
show just until we find that poll out.
Right.
There. I know he leads in Montana by 15.
Trump does?
Should be more.
Up by 15 in Montana. Yeah. Is that the most he's up by in any state?
I don't know. That's the most recently released poll I saw. But I mean, it's stunning.
Oh, I mean, that is enough to make your eyes bleed. It seriously is. Are you kidding? How do you have the giblets to stand there and spew all of that? You're just vomiting crap out of your mouth. It's unreal. Unbelievable. Sure. Do you stop and think about any of the things you're saying at all? Unreal. How stupid do you think we are? Well, you think we're really stupid.
Well, her base.
Wow.
Totally believes it.
I mean, yeah, and they're cheering. So all these lemmings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're right. Yes, you've been really terrible the last, but you're going to be so much better this time. Yeah. Okay.
Your name's not Trump, so whatever you say, I'm good with.
That's the problem, isn't it? It doesn't matter. With a lot of people, it doesn't matter. You know, she could be up there talking about the Communist Manifesto, and she is. And they'd just be wildly appreciating it. Oh, man. That's incredible. It's incredible. There is a little bit of hope. You know, Cori Bush just lost her in her primary, and apparently she's upset.
Pulling me away from my position as Congresswoman.
Mm-hmm.
All you did was take some of the strings off. Because see, now I don't have to worry about some strings that I have attached, and as much as I love my job.
What?
But all they did was radicalize me, and so now they need to be afraid. AIPAC, I'm coming to tear your kingdom down.
AIPAC.
Coming to... What? You coming to tear y'all kingdom down?
Y'all kingdom down.
AIPAC has y'all's kingdom?
Yeah. So
I didn't realize that.
Well, AIPAC got her done with, and Jamal Bowman with all the cash that they
two
injected.
Down. It's nice. At least we got her. Cori Bush has lost a race. A different psycho will take her place, but at least we needn't see her face. We just slowed down the G on pace. That didn't really
hold on.
Didn't really fit, but
well, and it wasn't as uplifting as I had hoped for, because I mean the second line was something about
a different cycle will take her place. But you know that's true. This guy is apparently just as radical, if
just
not more so.
Enjoy the moment.
But I'm just gonna
It's a win
because she lost. Cori Bush has lost a race. Another psycho takes her place. But at least we didn't see her face. We've just slowed down the G on pace.
How much time did you put into these lyrics this time?
All day. About a minute and a half.
All day.
Maybe.
No, all day.
No, I mean all day.
Yes.
Like all day.
But also you got to remember,
All darn
you dropped your iPad.
Day. Yes, that's
so
right.
you got that blockage
Okay,
of dropping
don't-
your iPad.
No.
That's right.
And then you had to drive back home.
No.
And then back to work.
No.
I feel
Right.
the stress. The stress
Right.
is so high right now.
No,
Thank
all he
you.
had to do was look up in the cloud, and he would have seen the lyrics.
Oh,
and
yeah,
stuff.
there it is. There it is. See it?
There's a song right there.
Yeah. Ah, dang it. I forgot. I forgot about the cloud above my head.
Man.
If only I had Kamala around, to remind me
Oh,
about
that's
these
kind of
important
sucks,
things.
though.
Yeah.
Kamala following you around and just
Just reminding you of everything?
Just giving you,
The significance of the passage of time.
Right.
I love Venn diagrams.
No. Who doesn't?
I love Venn diagrams. You know the 3 circles? I love Venn
yeah.
diagrams. You're just cracking up, right? Can you raise your hand if you love a yellow school bus, right?
Oh, yeah!
Space that connects us all.
Ukraine is a country in Europe.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm sorry, you brought in the yellow school bus there. The Biden-Harris team spent $1 billion to give schools electric buses, and they don't even work.
They do not work. They're not even close to it.
Like, districts are complaining now.
What do you mean they don't work?
Like,
they just don't work.
They
don't start? They don't.
Let's see. Significant performance issues they're having. There's a lot of downtime. So let's see. We originally estimated the upgrade for our infrastructure to be $50,000, says this one Michigan school district, but it ended up costing $200,000 just to be able to house them properly. And it just goes on to talk about all the issues that they're having with these clean buses that they can't even use to transport students.
And but they also didn't meet how many they needed either, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not enough of them.
There's not enough of them.
But they only spent $1 billion. That's
exactly.
Not bad.
So you only spent $1 billion.
I only did. Paycheck. Yeah. That's a drop in the bucket. But what about...
Talking about the significance of the passage of time.
What about that? You know what I mean?
The significance of the passage of time.
Time.
So when you think about it, there is great significance to the passage of time in terms of what we need to do to lay these wires, what we need to do to create these jobs. And there is such great significance to the passage of time.
Hang on.
And what do you say that she's trying to do there?
Hang on a second. Hang on. That program that was supposed to spend that spent $1 billion and we can't get the buses to work.
Yeah.
That was originally a $5 billion program, and it's produced 60 buses total in the nation.
Oh my gosh!
So we've earmarked $5 billion. Woo! I think we've spent $1 billion, and we've only gotten 60 buses.
This is
And they don't
Pat
work.
Gray Unleashed.